Alright, welcome back to the video. So this is the final section on materials and electricity. So we have learned about conductors and insulators of heat as well as the properties of materials. Now we'll be going through materials and electricity, alright? So we've learned these two topics, materials and electricity, but now we are seeing how they both combine and how we can apply our knowledge from materials to electricity. So similar to the other section, we have these two things, conductors and insulators. So again, we are thinking about the question, what are they and what do they do? All right. So if you can recall, the definition for conductors or insulators in the previous section was that it is how easy or difficult something can pass through a material, right? So if in the heat video it was about how easy or difficult heat can pass through, then this video is about how easy or difficult electricity can travel through a material. All right, so conductors allow electricity to travel freely through them, while insulators do not allow electricity to travel through them freely. Okay, so this is rubber. This is made out of rubber. It is an insulator. Meanwhile, inside this rubber, you have these copper wires, and these are conductors. So the reason why we coat these copper wires with this rubber is so that in the event that, for example, we have, let's say, a cat, and your cat accidentally steps on wires that are exposed or frayed, what will happen to the cat is that the electricity will then flow through the cat's body and your cat will actually die from electrocution. So the reason why we have this outer coating of insulators on our wires is for safety. All right. So remember, insulators do not allow electricity or electric currents to flow through them easily, while conductors allow them to flow through the material freely. Alright, so now we will take a look at a question before we end off this video. So we'll look at the exercises here. Let's take a look at exercise 2. Bobby was walking around his home when he realized that the wire on his floor fan was worn out and frayed. His father alerted him that this was very dangerous and asked him to fix the wires by wrapping something around it. What should Bobby wrap the frayed wire with? Explain your answer. So this is an example of damaged and frayed wire. As you can see here, the copper wire portion is exposed. So therefore, if you make contact with this portion of the wire, electricity will actually flow through your body and you would be severely injured. Alright, so let's look at what the question is asking us to do. Alright, the question has given us a scenario. So this is the scenario that they have given us. And this portion below is the question. So what should Bobby wrap the frayed wire with? Explain your answer. So there are two parts to this question. One is asking me for what material. So this will be one mark here, and the other mark would be explain why. So that is another mark here. So when we answer the question, we need to address both these parts because we have to, in order to get the 2 marks, we have to provide a full answer. So what material should the wrap be? So based on what we learned just now, insulators of electricity do not allow electricity to flow through them. Therefore, if I touch it, electricity cannot flow through my body and I will be safe. So I would suggest that we use rubber or plastic. And based on that, I would have already be given 1 mark because I gave the suggestion already. So now I have to explain my answer. So that would be the part of its property. Can you explain why this property of the material is important? So like I explained, both of these materials are insulators of electricity. All right, so that is their property. So why is this property important? So it does not allow electricity to flow through them. Therefore, it would prevent any accidents from happening should someone touch the wrapped wire. So I have answered the question here. Can you explain why this property of the material is important? It is important because it does not allow electricity to flow through them. And then I gave a further explanation to say that by covering it, if someone touches the wire, they would not be injured compared to when they are touching the wire that is exposed. All right. So based on this, we have already went through firstly the properties of materials, secondly heat and materials, thirdly materials and electricity, and we have looked at how to answer questions in order for us to get the full marks. All right, so do visit these videos if you do not understand or you did not catch anything by watching it the first time. Remember that practice is very important, and remember, while learning, do take your own time to understand and always answer the questions fully and in scientific language. Alright, so that is all we have for this video. Thank you and all the best.